Prototypes help us with, or what is the purpose of a prototype? Uh, the picture here is the example of the violence game that we heard Nidhi and her partner speak about 2 weeks ago. If you remember, they were trying to develop a e-game, a virtual game, which would help children think more about the issue of violence. And what prototyping helps us do is actually gain more empathy. When we create something and test it with a potential user, what happens is that we get more insights into the users. And design for design to be effective, it must always be human centered, and that's why it is so important to kind of do this again and again with students, with your colleagues, with anyone really, because you'll never be without feedback. And in the case of Nidhi and her partner, what happened was when they created the prototype, they realized that the definition of violence actually is different for different people. Uh, it made them realize that a person coming from a child coming from a different community may view violence differently from adults who come from maybe a socio-economic community that lives in an urban settlement, as opposed to someone who lives in a rural community. What their prototype also helped them realize is that while they were focused on the issue of violence, the prototype made them realize that they can actually develop multiple concepts to test with the children. So they realized that this could not be a one player game. What was really important was getting another person to talk to or talk with, and therefore language skills also became important at some level to arrive at an understanding of violence. And the third thing that prototyping helps us to do is it helps us create and refine our solutions. So in their case, if you see on the side here, you'll see tools written, and then they have some little counters and things like that. When they prototype the solution with learners, what they realized is that they need to add some other features. For example, games often have a help feature, or they have additional tools to help you move ahead. And they also realized, oh, with children we also need some kind of a point system to keep them going. So all this happened only because they created some kind of a physical prototype. So here's an interesting thought that I came across: prototype as if you know you are right, but test as if you know you are wrong. When we're creating prototypes, we really have to go in and do things confidently, even though we may not be really sure about how it's going to work out. But when we're testing, we have to test knowing that we're going to fail, or just believing that we're wrong with the kind of design we've made, because that's the only way we begin looking for things that are not working, or we begin looking for gaps in our design, or we begin looking for loopholes in our design. Often, when we start off as designers, it's also important to leave aside our biases. And there's something that is referred to as a beginner's mindset, or Judy referred to as the growth mindset, which has been popularized in the recent years by Carol Dweck. We often come to situations with experiences, beliefs, and assumptions. And it's quite possible that some of these are misconceptions that we have. And it's likely that these misconceptions in turn will stop us from empathizing with our users to as great an extent as we could. So having a beginner's mindset really helps us look at the problem with fresh eyes, and it helps us put ourselves in the place of our users, and it helps our design become stronger in that sense. So what can playtesting lead to? It can lead to more empathy. You revisit your empathy maps, you realize new things about your learners. In fact, playtesting can often lead to contrary outcomes as well. Uh, the very systematic observations and interactions that we do when we test a prototype with learners often leads us to learn more about our users or about our learners. In our case in Clicks, we realized that we were pitching some modules at a level that was very high compared to the levels of our learners. That was a huge learning for us, and we had very little time to rectify that. But we learned in that process, and that made our design more human centered. The second thing that that play testing can lead to is it helps us to improve, refine, or even change our design. Now, by refining, when we test something with users, we get feedback on what's working, what's not working, and this may lead to another iteration of that design experience or of that learning experience or tool. In some other cases, it may actually force us to go back to the drawing board completely and change the design. And that's why, again, the idea that we've been sharing with you last week, don't be too married to your idea is important. You really need to have that flexibility to move on. Otherwise, it's hard to just give up on that initial idea. And finally, playtesting can actually really disrupt our universe, and it can tell us that we actually got the solution completely wrong. The solution we've created is actually not addressing the problem, or it may even help us realize that we had framed our initial question incorrectly, and we may want to revisit our problem statement and things like that. So this is what we're hoping playtesting does for all of you as well. A few tips about beginner's mindset: don't judge. Um, don't judge your learners, don't judge your design, don't be too judgmental of what's happening as learners are play testing your product. Question everything, especially what you know, and be really curious. As you're observing them use your product or use your tool or use a process that you've introduced, find patterns, see what learners are doing, and you really, really need to listen. So what we're going to do now is, this is again a term that some of you had used to describe and reflect on your own experience as designers. Um, what is slowly happening for a lot of us is that we're moving from chaos to some clarity, to some sense of order. And before we play test, it's absolutely essential that we're sure of what we want. What do you want is a question that you have to keep asking yourselves again and again. This was a question that was asked of us as Clicks designers again and again by the tech team, the media team, because every time we went with a grand idea, they just, kind of take a hammer out and like chip away at our idea and ask us, what is it that you want? What do you want? And clarity only comes from that. And it's important to have that clarity before you move into playtesting.